Morning, everyone. So group one, are you guys ready? You want to share your screen? Group one is Ain'ni, Sam, Ikhwan, Hafizuddin, Shuzin, AK, Widat, and also Adiba Suraya. Group one, would you like to share your screen first before we start?
Can everyone see our screen?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so I think Dr. Zahira is here. Surveyor Ghani is also here. So good morning, everyone. So this is the BIE3008 Integrated Project Interim presentation. So you're given 10 minutes for each group to present, and then we'll have a 5 minutes Q&A. So your panel today is Dr. Surveyor Zahiria, Surveyor Abdul Ghani, and myself. Okay, so I've given you guys the rubric for today, and I think without further ado, it's 1 minute. So I'm going to give this group 10 minutes and then you can start. Well, before that, Dr. Zahira and Surveyor Ghani, can we proceed with the first group?
Yes.
Yes, please.
All right. So, okay. Thank you, Dr. Surveyor Zahira and Surveyor Ghani. So I'll pass it back to you, Shuzin, to start the presentation.
Right. So good morning, Dr. Zai, and Surveyor Ghani. So we are from Group 1 and we'll be presenting for
recording in progress
for our integrated project. So we can go on to the next slide. So starting with the terms of reference. So Frustration Properties Interim Bahai has appointed us to propose a feasible development on vehicle land under Lot 258 in Kuala Lumpur and to prepare a development proposal. Next. So these are the particulars of title for the particular plot of land. So I would like to draw your attention to the registered land area, which is 3.08 acres, and to syarat-syarat nyata and sekatan-sekatan kepentingan, which is nil. There is no any restriction in interest and whatnot. And the category of land use is bangunan. Next. So for the site. So the site currently has a building, which is the British High Commission. The land area of the site is 3.08 acres. It has a flat terrain and it is level with the frontage. So for further development, we need to level down the building. And after that, all the other amenities for the site is connected already. So the plot is rectangular in shape, which will be shown in the following slides. Next. So this is the location plan of the slide of the site. So it is fairly close to Kuala Lumpur city centre. It is just 1.8 kilometer by car, 5-minute distance if traveled. So the proposed site is accessible through Jalan Ampang, Jalan Turaza, and Akli. It is situated on the east of the Kuala Lumpur city centre. And next. So as I said, this is the site plan of our proposed site. It is rectangular in shape with Jalan Ampang as the frontage. Next. And for zoning plan, so our site is zoned for local commercial, perdagangan tempatan, which is light blue in color, number 258, highlighted in red. Next. And for surrounding of the proposed site, so it is a bit clustered since it is in a very hot site. I would like to draw your attention quickly to each of the components that we have listed here. So starting with the retail complexes, which is in orange. So the Link, Intermar, Kel, Fulian, and Sierra LCC, which are located the closest to our location. Next. There are a few hotels nearby. Some of the more known ones are, for example, Mandarin Oriental and Doubletree by Hilton KL. Next. And also our proposed site used to be an embassy, and it is located in the Embassy Road of Malaysia. So there are a lot of embassies nearby our proposed site, and these are some of the embassies that we can list that is very close to our site. Next. There are several office towers, which includes Menara Binjai, IB Tower, Menara Tantan, and the Icon, which is in black. Next. And there are several condominium and service apartment nearby too, which is in green. And these are the demand generators for special attractions that is unique to our site. So it is located right beside HSC Medical Center, which is also Somerset, KL. It is close to Ampang Park LRT Station, close to Petronas Twin Towers, SCC Park and KCC Convention Center, and close to Royal Selangor Golf Club, which are all highlighted in purple. So I would like to pass the presentation to my groupmate from here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aki.
Thank you, Aswin. So I will proceed with the planning guideline. So for the land use zone, our land is a commercial zone. The existing plot ratio is 1:6 and the maximum allowable plot ratio is 1:10. And the planned area is 70% for the commercial. Okay, next. Next. Slide. Tak ada. Hello? Okay.
Dekat Hafiz studentnya keluar macam mana? For us, it's population growth.
Yeah, now we are showing the population growth in your slide, and now it's Sam's turn to present these slides, and Hafizudin will be later.
Okay.
Sorry, I think it's my problem because the slide is lagging 1 second or 2 seconds to be shown for me. Sorry.
No problem.
Okay, thank you, Dean. Next, I'm going to explain the market study. It's divided into 2 parts, which is demand analysis and supply analysis. For the demand analysis, the first element to be studied is the population growth. As we can see from the slide, the number of citizens increased from 29.4 million to 29.7 million, whereas the total number of foreigners decreased from 3.1 million to 3 million. And we can see from the right-hand side, out of the all states in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur has the highest density of the people, which with a total of 7,299 person for every kilometer square. Furthermore, next slide. Thank you. The slide doesn't move.
I'm already showing.
Sorry.
The next slide.
Furthermore, proceed to the household income analysis. And as we can see, the graph on the upper left corner shows the number of households in Malaysia from 1995 to 2019. The average Malaysian household size decreases, which is from 4.6 to 3.9 in 2019. And a smaller household size indicates that there will be increasing demand toward the smaller dwelling units, such as flats, apartments, and condominiums. Besides that, the bottom figure shows the median and mean of compound annual growth rate of Kuala Lumpur in 2020. As we can see, Kuala Lumpur had the highest median income with 10,549, and it has exceeded the national median growth rate at 5% per year. And furthermore, the figure on the upper right-hand corner shows the income class of residents of Malaysia in 2016 and 2019. In 2019, it is worth that to mention the percentage of household with above 20,000 ringgit is recorded as 13.6% in 2019. Also, a total of 53.3% of households which have income more than 10,000 ringgit. Next. It shows the number of tourists arriving to Malaysia from 2008 to 2020. As we can see, the number of tourists visiting Malaysia yearly was at least 20 million per year for the past 12 years, from 2008 to 2019. However, the pandemic caused by COVID-19 was certainly a major disruption that caused the number of arrivals to Malaysia dipping down to 4.33 million in 2020. and also negatively impact the receipt for the year. And we expect that the tourism industry will be recover after the vaccination are completed. Next, I will proceed to the supply analysis. As of 2020, there are approximately 283,000 units of service apartment in the market. On the other hand, the incoming supply for service apartment also keep increasing. Next. Based on the figure above, the overhang unit of the service apartment in Kuala Lumpur is almost at 4,500. And KL contributed the highest number of unsold units under construction and not constructed among the major states in 2020. The overhang problem might be due to the pandemic effect. However, the residential market can be expected to recover slightly, driven by the success of the vaccine rollout in the country. As a result, the number of unsold property will become stable. In a nutshell, the construction of service apartment on our proposed site is a need and appropriate. And next slide, for our target market, we mainly aim for the expatriate foreign investor which fulfill the criteria to apply for the Malaysia My Second Home program, and the local buyer which is mostly high income earner or T20 group. Next, I will pass to my groupmate to explain the next slide. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sam. So I proceed with the planning guideline. So for the placement location, the development service apartment should be concentrated in one of the following location, which is city center, major commercial zone or institutional zone, with plains area 60% from the gross floor area of the whole development. Service apartment design should be a part of a mixed development component or service apartment as a freestanding building. With floor area for small unit service apartment, the range size are between 450 square feet to 649 square feet. For standard unit, the size start from 650 square feet and above. And minimum building setback is 6.1 meter, planting parameter 2 meter around the development area, with podium 20% from the total height of the building or maximum 8 story of the podium. There are also we need to provide for car parking and motorcycle parking. For the open space, 10% open space. If cannot provide 10% open space, 8% open space can be provided at the ground level and 16% open space at podium level. That's all from me. Now I will pass this presentation to the next presenter.
Thank you, Hafizuddin. Now I will continue the presentation by giving you an insight of our service apartment. First and foremost, the theme of the service apartment is Skyview Complex. Okay, next. All right, it has a plot ratio of 1:8, and it comes with 2 residential towers, whereby each tower will have 42 floors. Overall, there are 336 residential units that are made up of type A, type B, and type C. So if you look at the sizes, and based on the planning guideline, we have 1 type of small unit and 2 types of standard unit. Okay, if we look at the bottom, middle, and the right side of the slide, this is the component of each tower, and each level will be provided with 4 units only to provide the privacy to the residents. Okay, next. Moving on, let's look at the facilities. So these are the prominent facilities that will be included in the proposed development. It includes a rooftop garden, an infinity pool, a sky bar for the residents to enjoy the KL city skyline, and a surau. Last but not least, we will also provide 10 retail lots, with each lot having an area of 1,000 square feet. So, okay, that wraps up our presentation this morning from Group 1 for Task 1. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Adiba. So I'll open for the Q&A session. Perhaps Dr. Zahiria wants to start. Dr. Zai?
Aku cakap seorang-seorang. Lupa. Okay. I have two questions here. First is you go to your location plan, distance from Kuala Lumpur City Centre. Yeah. So you take the Kuala Lumpur City Centre as KLCC, right?
Yes.
Yes. Can you confirm? Yeah, maybe you contact Encik Sulaiman. Yeah, distance from Kuala Lumpur should be taken from which? Where is the 0 kilometer post? Yeah, is it the KLCC is considered as Kuala Lumpur City Centre or where? Yeah. Hello.
Noted, Doctor.
Okay. And the second one, yeah. Okay, for your service apartment, you propose service apartment, right, on the site. Why you take plot ratio of 1:8, although maximum allowable is 1:10?
The whole idea is to not
Because we're looking for highest and best use.
yeah.
So when we're talking about highest, to be 1:10. So what's the reason why you take
that is actually after looking at the number of incoming service apartments and also the overhang in Kuala Lumpur as of currently. So it seems better to stay at 1:8 instead of going maximum to 1:10 to avoid unsellable units.
Okay. What do you mean by existing 1:6?
As if the minimum we can go is 1:6. And the maximum allowable as of now capped in KL is 1:10. We can go above 1:10, but we need to apply for it and that is subject for approval.
Okay, that means the existing allowable plot ratio, 1:6. It's not to say minimum, yeah. 1:6. This one you can you don't need to pay for development charge, yeah. If you go beyond that, you have to pay for development charge. Is that the reason?
Yeah, if we are going to apply for 1:8 and then we need to pay for the development charges.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Then. But please relook lah into it, yeah. Because when we talk about highest and best use, we want, of course, we want to develop with the highest gross development value, yeah, that we can get.
All right, noted, Doctor.
Okay, of course lah, you have to consider the other factors as well, yeah, as per the highest and best use definition. Okay. Okay, that's my comments lah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zai. So, Surveyor Ghani, do you have any questions for the?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Yes. Yeah, I have similar concern with Dr. Zai about that plot ratio, but you already answered that. Because so wondering why you didn't take up to the maximum allowable, 1:10. And then the next concern is regarding the reasons or any, I would say, factors that made you decided to propose service residence in that area. Because when you look back at your graph just now, we've seen there were a lot of supply incoming or outcoming, and there are also overhang unit. I think you need to put more reasons or strong reason why you still propose to build service apartment. So anybody can respond to that?
Yeah, noted, Doctor. We did do our study on other supplies, including other components such as shopping malls and offices and whatnot. We just feel to show it on the slide here because there is severe overhang and severe oversupply in terms of office and shopping mall in KL. So in terms of the site, which is in commercial, it seems better to actually propose a service apartment. Plus, it's a 3.08 square, so proposing a shopping mall in such area in KL in such size was not seem to be appropriate enough. So that's why we went forward with service apartment.
I think that is okay, but you need to put it in the report, yeah. And I'm sure this one will be tied towards with your appraisal as well as your marketing strategy later on, right? Whether the proposed unit can be sold or not later on. All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Surveyor Gani. So I think we're done. So that's it for group 1 for task 1. So we'll see you guys back at task 2. So second group, are you guys ready? Group 2. So group 2 is Hui Ming, Saliza, Luna, Lavinia, Faikmal, Kayun, and also Nazri. So are you guys ready?
Yes.
Sorry, Dr. Zafira.
Yes.
The presentation marks tadi tu dia for the group kan, not individual ya?
No.
Okay.
Marks will be given as a group.
Okay, thank you. Right.
All right.
Just confirm.
Okay, thank you. Okay, since Surveyor Gani highlighted that, I think you all know also, right? The group, the presentation marks are a group effort. So we don't have individual students mark, okay? Because there's 8 of you guys, and I understand some of you guys won't be presenting. So we'll look at it as a group. All right. So, okay, so group 2, are you guys ready? Yes, I see Kayun is ready. All right. So, okay, all the best.
Luna, are you talking?
Sorry, just now my house is powered off. Okay, shall we start now?
Okay.
Good morning to Dr. Surveyor Zafira, Dr. Surveyor Zahiria, and Surveyor Abdul Ghani. We are from BIE Consultants in Bahar. Before we start, I would like to introduce my group members. Our group members consist of Amma Nazri, Chong Hui Ming, Lavinia, Nur Saliza Hidayah, Muhammad Faima, Yeo Kai Yun, and me, Li Wenyue. And now we'll start the presentation with task 1. Next slide. Next slide.
Yeah. We are looking at the term of reference now, Luna.
Oh, okay. We BIE Consultants in Bahar have been appointed by the owner of the land, Dosan Properties in Bahar, to propose a feasible development and come up with redevelopment study report under Lot 258, Grant 10567, Kuala Lumpur City, Kuala Lumpur District, Federal Territory of Kuala Lumpur. Next. And this is the particulars of title. The proposed land is held under title number Grant 10567, recognized as Lot 258, and it is located in Kuala Lumpur City, Kuala Lumpur District, Federal Territory of Kuala Lumpur. The tenure is term in perpetuity. The category of land use is building, having an area of 3.07 acres, and the registered owner of this land is Dosan Properties in Bahar, and there's no express condition. Next. This is the site plan of our subject property. The subject property is trapezium in shape, and it is currently used as the British High Commission, which is an office building for embassy use. Next. Our subject property is zoned under commercial, and there's no against of the zoning rule since we plan to do the service apartment, Soho, and retail development here. Next. This is the general view of our subject property. Next. This slide shows you the location map. Petronas Twin Towers is located 1 kilometer to the southwest of our subject property. Next. This is the surrounding plan. Starting from the northwest of our subject property, the surroundings got Interim Mall, the Castle Restaurant, the Link KL, Aquaria KLCC, Pavilion, Caesars Club, and HSC Medical Center. Next. The subject property is accessible through public transport such as Ampang Park and MRT station with a distance of 650 meters and IRT station KLCC with a distance of 800 meters. Also, it is accessible through various highways, including Ampang KLCC Elevated Highway and Sultan Iskandak Highway. That's all from me. Now I would like to invite KAJANG to continue the presentation.
So thank you, Luna. So I'm here to share about what we have done in our market analysis. So our proposal is to develop a mixed-use scheme with components of service apartment, SOHO, and retail. So first of all, let us look at the economic overview. So next slide. So as we know, COVID-19 pandemic has triggered the economic recession globally, and Malaysia is also one of the countries that have been affected since early March 2020. So as you can see in the graph here, Malaysia GDP was declined sharply in Q2 of 2020. However, it also shows a sign of recovery after Q2 of 2020. So next. So this is a sign. So this is due to the increasing vaccination rates. According to the statistics from Live COVID-19 vaccination tracker, so Malaysia could have 70% of people vaccinated with 2 doses by this September 2021. So next slide. So, however, the consumer price index that always referred by government in their economic policies was increasing gradually from July 2020 to June 2021. So, next slide. It is also important to know about the inflation rate as it will affect the values of our ringgit Malaysia. So, by referring to this graph, the inflation rate started to get negative value in 2020 and getting back positive in 2021. So, next slide. So up to 8 July 2021, Bank Negara Malaysia has decided to maintain the overnight policy rate OPR as 1.75%. It is a minimum interest rate charged among banks in the interbank market, which they borrow funds from each other. So next slide. So according to the statistics by Bank Negara Malaysia, as at August 2020, the range of the base rate is from 1.75 to 3.22. So next. So now we are going to look at the market analysis about the demographic. So next. So as you can see in this graph, the population in Malaysia increased gradually from 2010, which is 29 million, to 2021, which can achieve 32 million of population. So next slide. So this graph actually tells us that the Kuala Lumpur has achieved the populations of 1 million for the age group of 15 to 64. So next slide. So up to 2019, the finding shows that the mean income in urban area is around 8,000 and the median income in urban area is around 6,000. So it can break down into B40, M40, and T20 for the further studies, where we can know that how many units of households belongs to that particular of the income group. So next slide. So we're also going to see the property market analysis. So next. So the volume and value of overall property transactions in Kuala Lumpur declined sharply from 2019 to 2020. So next, as you can see in the arrow there. So next, so the most transaction volume and value in Malaysia is residential sector, followed by the industrial and development land and others. But there is no transaction for agriculture properties in Kuala Lumpur. So next slide. So in Kuala Lumpur, the volume and the value of the commercial transactions started to decline from 2019, as you can show in the arrow there. Next. Okay, next. So this graph actually tells us the market status of the service apartment in Kuala Lumpur. So due to the COVID-19 pandemic, so there's a higher number of the overhang and unsold units in 2020. So as you can see in the box. Okay, next. So from this graph, there's a smaller number of the starting and a new planned supply of service apartment in 2020 compared to 2019. So also can shown in the box. Okay, and then next. So in 2020, there's more unsold units of the service apartment in Kuala Lumpur compared to 2019. So next. So in Q1 of 2021, there is no completion, start, and new planned supply of SOHO in Kuala Lumpur. So next. So the number of unsold units of SOHO is slightly higher in 2020 compared to 2019. So next slide. So actually from this article, we know that working from home trend arising from the COVID-19 pandemic is expected to stay even as the COVID situation ends. This is because it has found that a more flexible approaches is better for work-life balance. So actually our SOHO encourage this practice. Therefore, it is in line with our new office trends now. So that's all from me. Now I would like to invite Pike to continue.
Right. Thank you, Kayun. Now I'll talk about the proposed development. Next slide. First, we look at the concept picture. We are proposed to build mixed development which comprises of service apartment, SOHO, and retails. Two blocks of, as you can see in the picture, 2 blocks of service apartment and 2 blocks of SOHO. There are sky bridge at the top of the sky of the towers that connect service apartment blocks and SOHO's block, only for the residents with the fabulous skyline views. At the common area, there are many facilities with endless fun for everyone, especially the 50 meters length of swimming pool, gym, and lush garden of green landscape. Also track to jog and walk around the pool. Okay, next slide. Now I'll explain about the development concept. First concept is connectivity within the complex. To bring this into life, a sky bridge will connect the service apartment tower with the SOHO tower. It will also be connected through the retail unit found below. Everything is at the doorstep in this development. Okay, second concept is opulent and open spaces. Our development will be provide an open living space that is spacious and airy. Okay, next, move to the third concept is safety and security. Security is a major concern for most city dwellers in Malaysia. As service apartment and SOHO, this aspect can be controlled significantly through current comprehensive security system. This include separate elevator and entry provided for the service apartment residents. Okay. Fourth concept is comfort and style. The abundance of facilities are designed to suit the development for maximum enjoyment of the residents. And the last concept is art that draws fortune. This development boosts state-of-the-art facilities with a hint of creative flair. This ethos of design influences orientations throughout the development, ensuring that all facilities can be enjoyed and appreciated to the fullest. Okay, next. Next is our development logo. As you can see in the logo, the name of our development is Canyon Boulevard. Why is Canyon Boulevard? Canyon is like a deep, narrow valley. In the middle, have a stream like a river flowing through. Can you show the picture, Nazri? Okay, as you can see the picture, the canyon helps to connect one place to another place. So in our development, it is about the connectivity from SOHO to service apartment to the retails. Okay, the circle in our logo is like a river. Boulevard is like a wide street, have trees. A very modern concept, relaxing and peaceful. Okay, move to the our development slogan. Our development slogan is an abode of peace. Even though it is in the heart of Kuala Lumpur, chaotic at the outside, but still our development is a peaceful place with the way we design it. Okay, that's it from us. Thank you.
Thank you, Group 2. Okay, so I'm going to open the Q&A session and we'll start with Surveyor Ghani. Ghani, do you have any questions?
Well done, this group. I think I've heard many much information about your project. Cuma there's one thing about the pricing points that you didn't discuss in this at this stage, the pricing comparison. I suppose you will do that in your next. Next in the next one. Yeah, I think overall they're good. Thank you, Dr. Zabira.
Okay, thank you, Surveyor Ghani. Dr. Surveyor Zahiria, do you have any question for this group?
Okay, I really like your proposed development because seem like you not only selling the properties, the SOHO service apartment and retail. Actually, you are selling lifestyle, yeah. So very convincing lah at this moment. But we haven't looked at the pricing and others, yeah. And same like the group number 1, you also take Suria KLCC as your 0 kilometer post. Yeah? I want you to check with maybe with Encik Sulaiman, yeah, whether it's correct, yeah, to take Suria KLCC as the 0 kilometer post. Okay. That's all.
Thank you, Dr. Surveyor Zahiria. All right, so well done, Group 2. So take notes on the comments and well done. So thank you, Group 2. So now Group 3, are you guys ready? Group 3 consists of Wei Chi, Amira, Liguan, Wahida, Sokling, Izzat, and Izwani. Are you guys here?
Yes, doctor.
All right, so you can share your screen. All right, so if you're ready, you can start.
Thank you, Surveyor Zahiria, Surveyor Abdul Ghani, and Dr. Surveyor Zahiria. We are from Group 3 and I'm going to present the development proposal for Task 1. About the detail of property. First of all, our subject property is located at Jalan Ampang with a lot number of 258 under Bandar Kuala Lumpur. The tenure of our subject site is term in perpetuity. So for Jalan Ampang is connected from the west of Ampang Jaya to the Golden Triangle. MRR2 is a divider for Kuala Lumpur and Selangor area, which the left-hand side of the map is at Kuala Lumpur area and the right-hand side is at Selangor area. Okay, next. As you can see, our subject is not a vacant land, but it has an existing building. Next. Here is the site plan of our subject property. It's in rectangular in shape with flat terrain. The size of a land is at 3.08 acres. The building existing is the British Embassy's. Next. This photo shows the existing building of British Embassy, and this is the front view of it. Next. And this is the main building of the British Embassy. And this one is the aerial view of the British Embassy. So next one. For the public facilities and services, Selangor is responsible for the water supply to subject property. PNB is responsible for the electricity supply, and Telecom Malaysia will supply the telecommunication line to the subject property. TPKL is the local authority of the subject property, which handle for the street lighting, road drainage, etc. Next. Okay, I'll explain about the surrounding plan of our subject property. So first one is center, which is HSC Medical Center at the east, right next to our subject property. The police station and fire station is not far from subject property as well. Next. The Link KL and Intermark Mall is at the west of subject property. There are some education institutions nearby also, such as SMK Sri Ampang, SJKC Chonghua, and etc. These institutions surrounded comprises from primary level to university level. And you can see a LRT station of Ampang Park LRT station at the east of subject property. MRT Ampang 2 station is under construction, which is estimated to be finished this year at opposite of LRT Ampang Park station. And then last one. As you can see, our subject property is surrounded by many embassies, such as German embassy, Singapore embassies, etc. So this is the surrounding plan of our subject property. Since the subject property is near to the CBD area, so it is surrounded by many buildings. So next one. The zoning of our subject property is zoned under commercial with the plot ratio of 1:6.
Okay, thank you, Puan. Now I will explain about the market study for the population and social demographic. The first one is population of Kuala Lumpur. As we can see, the population of Kuala Lumpur is decreasing for 5-year period. Next, the table, this table show the household distribution in Kuala Lumpur for for 2016 and 2019. Although the household distribution increased, the average household size has been decreased from 3.6% to 3.3%, and average income recipient also decreased from 1.9% to 1.8%. Next, I will pass to Nur Wahida.
Thank you, Izwani. Next, I will explain about property market in Kuala Lumpur. For residential property market activity, based on the graph, the volume of the residential property market indicates a decreasing trend from 2019 to 2020. This is because of the COVID-19 outbreak, and our country economy is not performing well ever since the movement control order implemented, eventually result in a negative gross development product recorded in both 2020 and first quarter of 2021. And the value of the residential property also recorded the lowest in 5 years, which also contributed by the same reason. And as a result, the current residential market might be described as sluggish market. Next. For new launches graph, as you can see at the right hand side, there were a huge number of residential unit launches in 2017, but it says performance in terms of percentage was bad. However, if we convert the percentage into the unit measurement, what we can see now is that 2017 has more units sold as compared to 2018 and 2019, while in 2020, the sales performance in unit number is 1,100 units. For market status graph at the left-hand side, we can see that the number of property overhang is increased in 2020. Basically, the current property overhang is the cause of weak housing demand, which is the result of a slowing economy, unemployment, and low market sentiment. These factors will also impact the number of property unsold under construction, which might result in increasing the number of property overhang in the future if the market does not recover in time. Next. For commercial property market, as you can see, what happened in the residential property market also happens in the commercial property market. But the commercial property market is even worse since some of economic activity cannot be continued and many businesses are forced to shut down. In this situation, because there is no demand for commercial property, the volume and value of commercial property are decreased. And as you can see, based on the graph, both volume and value recorded the lowest transaction trend in 2020 as compared to past 5 years. Next. For service apartment, based on the graph, the trend in service apartment overhang and unsold units was mixed, and overhang and unsold under construction numbers increased, but unsold not constructed is decreased. Next. For shop, based on the graph, the overhang unit for shop increased about 777.8% from 2019 to 2020. However, unsold under construction improved, and the area was free of unsold not constructed shop units starting from 2017 to 2020. Next. For shopping complex, based on the graph, supply space for shopping complex has approximately increased by 600,000 square meters from 2016 to 2020. In the meantime, the occupied space only increased by around 70,000 square meters. This has contributed to the decrease of occupancy rate in 2020 as compared to 2016, implying an oversupply of shopping complex spaces. It is worth to mention that even with the strike of COVID-19 pandemic and subsequent impacts along with it, the drop in the occupancy rate, which is year-to-year change in 2020, is only 1.4%. And one of the reasons behind this is because the shopping complex are normally occupied with lease engagement, even though shopping complex and the shop lots within it cannot be operate and carry out the business, but those business premises are still occupied the spaces because of the leasing agreement. Hence, in short term, the size of the space occupied would not change so much until the next renewal term for those business premises who cannot sustain themselves anymore in the future. Next. For purpose BIE office, based on the graph, as you can see, what happened to shopping complex has happened to purpose BIE office because of leasing agreement. And occupancy rate for purpose-built office is lower than shop complex. Next, I will pass to Lee Kuan.
Thank you. Thank you, Wahida. So I will be presenting the development proposal. So based on our group findings and research, we will propose a high-end residential, which is a service apartment, together with a retail complex, which we suggest us to be self-managed by the developer and with one single tenant only. The reason why we do with one single tenant only because our main proposal is a high-end development, and the retail complex is added as an additional feature add toward the property, toward the development. So a single tenant means the lowest density of population flow, and then we can ensure the high privacy of the high-end residential for the residents. So the reason why we can conclude these two development, we can come from two findings so far. One is in terms of location, because of prime location is located at the CBD fringe, like Weiqi has explained. So it's a very good location to be developed and hotspot. And other than that, based on our inspection, the surrounding land does not have any vacant land anymore, which is suitable to be carried out this kind of large-scale development. So which is an opportunity to us. And other than that, our location is located next to arterial route, which is the Jalan Ampang, located straight away from the Ampang area toward the Golden Triangle, and is the second route other than the KLEH highway connecting these two locations. So from the market research, the proposed build also is no longer suitable because it's currently oversupply, and impact of COVID-19 is unsure until everything shows a symptom of recover. As for shop, it's not economical to be built because it's a rented, which will end up to fail to achieving the high-end best use. While the retail complex, like I explained, even though it's oversupply, is another additional feature adding towards the high-end residential and to provide the attractiveness for the development. So that's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you, Group 3. Hold on. Oh, a bit different in terms of proposed development. So I'll open the Q&A session with Dr. Surveyor Zahiria.
Hello?
Yes, Dr. Zahir.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Because
Yes.
my line is not so good. Yeah? Okay. So I think I have no comments because it seemed like the same with Group 1 and Group 2. Yeah, you propose service apartment and retail complex, but then you didn't elaborate on the proposed developments. So I cannot comment so much. But then please bear in mind, when you do the detailed proposed development, can you please trying to find niche of your development so you can attract demand from the proposed from the buyer. Yeah. Okay. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zai. Surveyor Ghani, do you have any question for this group?
Well, I also don't have much question actually. Yeah, I concur what Dr. Zahira has said just now. But I'm more interested to know more about the pricing points, man, to see whether the profitability of the project, and maybe that one will be later on, kan? Because there's one component retail complex with self-management, very intriguing. I mean, interesting also to know much about it until later on.
Whether it's viable or not.
Yes.
So retail complex with sole with with single tenant ni biasanya the tenant which the rent is very low, whether it's viable or not.
And then it must be long term, not short term.
Yeah.
I think it's all good. This group. Thank you very much also.
All right, thank you. So well done, Group 3. So take the comments as were given, and we'll see you guys back in task 2. So Group 4, are you guys ready? Group 4 consists of Kiching, Basan, Shirley, Shahira, Fawaz, Swijong, Fazliana, and also Ain'ni. Okay, so all right. Okay, you can start.
Assalamualaikum. Good morning to lecturers and fellow corporate teams. Group 4 will be presenting on task 1, and the first presenter will start with Nur Shahira, followed by Vasan Kumar, and lastly Fazilana Kasim. Next. We've been appointed by Firdausan Sendirian Berhad to propose and prepare a feasible development proposal on his lot 258. Next. From the particulars of title, this site is termed in perpetuity and owned by Firdausan Sendirian Berhad. Next. Our proposed site is at Jalan Ampang, accommodating an existing building aged over 32 years called the British High Commission Kuala Lumpur. Next. The proposed site is located in Klang, Kuala Lumpur, Mukim of Bandar Kuala Lumpur, which is 1.2 kilometers due to northeast of Kuala Lumpur City Centre. Next. And this is the proposed site. The site is outlined in red rectangle. Our site is described as rectangular in shape. It has an area of 3.08 acres, which is 12,464 square meter. And the terrain is flat. Next. The proposed site is surrounded with lots of commercial building, residential and health facilities, as well as public school. Due to north of proposed site is the Intermark Mall, and due to east of it is HSC Medical Center, Pavilion Embassy, and SJKC Changhua KL. On its south is Area Luxury Residence. Meanwhile, on the west side of the proposed site are Surya KLCC, Kuala Lumpur Convention Center, and Binjai Tower. Next. Our site is accessible by public transport such as Rapid KL Shuttle Bus and LRT. It is also accessible by Ampang Kuala Lumpur Elevated Highway. Next. Current land use and zoning for our proposed site is under commercial with a plot ratio of 1 to 8. Next. I will pass to Vasan for the planning guideline. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Shira. All right, next slide, please. All right, so in terms of the buildings that are allowable on our site with condition, as we can see, service apartments are in fact allowable from the planning guidelines with conditions. Moving on from that. Next slide. Okay, as we can see, the zoning is commercial. Previous slide, please. As we can see, the zoning is commercial. The print area is 60% from the gross floor from the floor area of the development, which is taken from the planning guidelines of service apartment. The plot ratio, although initially it is 1.6, we will be applying a plot ratio of 1.8 in our development. And in our units that we're going to be selling, since we are selling service apartment units, our Bumi Putra quota will be 30% from total units with a 5% discount per unit for each one of those units. Okay, moving on. All right, so here are the service apartment unit size in city centers. So in terms of small units, it's between 450 to 649 square feet with a maximum of 50% from the total units. And the normal units are 650 square feet and above. And this will be composed from the remaining of the approved units. So moving on. So now I would like to pass it on to Fazliana for the market study.
All right, thank you, Vasan. Sorry, can you hear my voice?
Yes,
Sorry.
yes. Loud and clear.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you, Vasan. Now I will explain about market study. First, we take a look at our GDP. So prior to COVID-19 outbreak in March 2020, Malaysia GDP experienced a negative growth of negative 70.2% in Q2 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic and imposition of MCO. Despite in positive coronavirus cases has led to the reimposition of MCO 2.0 in January 2021, hence Malaysia's economy posted a lower contraction of negative 0.5% in first quarter of 2021. Moving next, this is the best rate obtained from Bank Negara Malaysia as of 6 August 2020. For housing loan purpose, the indicated competitive lending rate will be adopted by the commercial banks ranging from 3.25% to 3.5%. Okay, moving next, the median and mean of household income in Kuala Lumpur. From the table, we can see that Kuala Lumpur has a median income of about RM 9,000 in 2020, exceed the national median income of about RM 5,000 Meanwhile, the mean income in Kuala Lumpur is about around 11,000 in 2020. Although median and mean income showed a decrease from the previous year, Kuala Lumpur was still recorded as the second highest salary among other states in Malaysia. Moving next is the Kuala Lumpur population growth obtained from KLSP 2040. The population growth is projected to increase by 1.05% every year and reach 2,254,000 in 2040. With the increasing of the population, there will be increase in housing demand. As for household and size, most households have 4 members and over, and on average, household size in Kuala Lumpur was 3.3%. Next, we will see market study of expatriate in Malaysia. Expatriate is an individual living or working in a country other than his or her country of citizenship, often temporarily and for work reason. The Malaysia My Second Home and Engage program has been reactivated on October 2021, which is promoted to allow foreigners to stay in Malaysia for as long as possible on a multiple entry social visa pass. A survey by HSBC Bank in 2018 found that expats in Malaysia have an average income of RM482,000 and 42% of them own property in Malaysia. Moving next on Kuala Lumpur property market conditions. The supply of shop units with the existing stock in 2020 is slightly higher than 2019, and the future supply in 2020 is in total is 3,182 as compared to 2,846 in 2019. Next is the supply and occupancy rate of shopping complex also show an increase of total space in 2020 compared to 2019. Meanwhile, the future supply of shopping complex also decreased at 832,967 square meters in 2020 compared to 868,000 square meters in 2019. The occupancy rate also show a slight decrease from 2019 to 2020. And next is the upcoming retail malls expected to complete in 2021 until 2023.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
All
ready.
right. So, okay, so you may begin group 1.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning to the lecturer, Dr. Zafira, Dr. Zahira, Surveyor Gani, and all my fellow friends. We are from first group. Uh, 1125, on the lot 1125. Next. This is the particular of title. The title number HSM 54445 on the lot number 1125 and owned by Saitama Properties Sendirian Berhad. Next. This is our site plan. Our site plan area is 3.77 acres. Next. According to MPKJ, it's revealed that the subject site is under Block Perancangan Kecil 1.21 Kajang 2 and zone under commercial. Next. The land area of the site is 3.77 acres. The shape is rectangular. It is also flat and lies same level with the frontage road. It makes the development more easy to carry out. Next. The purpose development site is located at Batu 17, Jalan Rico Kajang, Selangor. The purpose site is accessible from Kuala Lumpur through the Kajang State Highway, the Lebuh Raya Kajang Seremban, and SD Expressway. It's situated at the northwest of the Kuala Lumpur City Centre, and the distance from Kuala Lumpur City Centre is approximately 30 kilometers. Next. For surrounding of purpose development site, the locality within the subject property is situated predominantly commercial and residential. There is a commercial hub, which is Rico Central. Beside, there are several options for public educational facilities, such as Kajang Utama, SK Kajang Utama, and SMK Jalan Rico. It is also close to a well-known Kajang Hill Golf Country Club. There is also a medical center as Kajang Hospital, and it is also located 1 kilometer from Kajang 2KM station. So I will pass the next slide later.
Right, thank you, Widat. So let's take a look at the comparable plan. So in order to assess the land value of the subject land, we need a similar land that we can use as comparables. So we have found 3 comparables that are recently transacted within the locality of our subject land. Comparable 1 is located at the north of the subject property, and comparable 2 at the south, and lastly the comparable 3 is at the southwest of the subject property. These 3 we will make an adjustment to find out the price per square feet of the subject land. Next. All right. So as mentioned by Widat just now, our land is under BPK 1.21. So for BPK 1.21, service apartment are allowed to develop since it is under B15 category, and the plot ratio is 1:4 and the density is 60 unit per acre. Next. And this is the planning requirement for the service apartment. There is floor area ranging from 550 to 1,000 square feet, and the pleased area is 60%, and allocated household per unit is 4. There are also requirement for service road and the parking. Next. And also there are supporting facilities for service apartment, including surau, management office, retail spaces, garbage disposal, and others. Plus, there are also facilities that are only exclusive for service apartment resident, which is including the gym, swimming pool, Wi-Fi, laundry, and many more. That's it for the guidelines for service apartment. Now I will pass to Susan to explain on market study.
All right, thank you, Ikwan. Now I will explain about the market study. Next, please. So overall speaking, the property market softened since the outbreak of the pandemic, and this is reflected by the volume and value of the property transactions. As we can see in this slide, the property transaction volume fluctuated from the first quarter of 2020 to the first quarter of 2021. The volume drops during strict implementation of MCO and rebounded when MCO was lifted and RMCO was implemented. So in terms of the total transacted volume, it was 80,694 units in last quarter, whereas the value 36.12 billion ringgit of properties was transacted in the past quarter. Next, please. So looking into the breakdown of the volume and value of the transacted properties by subsector, we can see that residential properties are the most transacted type of properties, both in terms of volume and value. And this is followed by agricultural properties and also the commercial properties. In terms of the volume, agricultural properties are the second most transacted, whereas commercial properties recorded the second highest value of transactions. Next. So now we will look into the performance of retail properties in Selangor and KAJANG. So as shown by these two graphs in the slide, we can notice that the trends of existing spaces and the occupancy rate of the retail properties in both Selangor and KAJANG are similar. The existing retail spaces increases, whereas the occupancy rate fluctuated over the past period. The movement restrictions and social distancing practice forced the retail complexes to run at a minimal capacity and causes the drop in occupancy rate. However, the total existing spaces keep increasing, no matter in terms of Selangor or KAJANG. Next. So despite the worsening COVID-19 condition, the retail sector is expected to have a brighter future. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, overall business confidence indicators showed a quarter-on-quarter increase from Q1 2020 to Q2 2021. A great positive growth is noticed. Next, we will look at the wholesale and retail trade. Now we can see that it is one of the most promising sector because the confidence level rocketed to positive 12.5% over January to June in 2021 compared to positive 5.6% from the January to March 2021. On the other hand, both the sales value and volume of the retail sector recorded positive growth year on year. And all of this situation actually is an indicator that we can expect a positive outlook on the retail sector, especially when the vaccination rate increases in the near future. Next. Now we will look into the supply condition of the service apartment in Malaysia. And from this slide, we can notice that both existing and incoming supply of the service apartment units in Malaysia are increasing from 2018 to 2020. And only the planned supply is decreasing as the time passes. Next. Looking at the service apartment market status in the major states, we found that KL is the state with the most unsold under construction units, whereas Johor has the most overhang units. Selangor has far less overhang and unsold units than Johor and KL. And the possible cause of the situation in KL and Johor include that the properties are too far from public transport or the prices of properties are being placed at a too high level. So since our site is located next to the upcoming KTM station, and if the pricing strategy is done appropriately, it is expected that there's room for us to construct service apartment on our site. I will pass to Ain'ni to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Susan. So I will proceed with the development concept we propose. So we are going to propose a mixed-use development whereby it consists of a floor of retail podium and 3 blocks of service apartment towers on the top of the retail podium. Going on, please. So to briefly explain, sorry, last slide, please. Yeah, to briefly explain the bubble map showing that the building is facing giant record so that the traveler can pass by, can easily see the building. And besides the fountain being placed in between the building to enhance the beauty of the site and also facilitate the traffic flow on the site. Next slide, please. So the whole development concept consists of 20 retail lots and 3 service apartment towers, and each tower contains 15 levels, and there are total 225 units being proposed within the towers. Furthermore, there are 3 types of unit being proposed, namely type A, B, and C. Next slide. So as for the target market, our main target market are the local buyers from the area around the Klang, mainly focused on the young buyers at the age around 25 to 35 years old. Next. So that's all from our group. Thank you.
Thank you. Fazan, group 1. So I'll open the Q&A session with Surveyor Ghani. Do you have any question?
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Group 1, for your presentation. One thing that you not showed us is actually the immediate surrounding of the location of the subject site, basically. Because whether the site is within what we call established neighborhood ataupun it is really a fresh site yang away from other things, because that will give some effect on your proposed development. Yeah, I believe your site is within what we call the established neighborhood, kan? And the other thing is about your analysis on specific looking into Kajang area lah, basically, because tadi banyak on macro factor kan, macro element, but not so much of Kajang market segment, Kajang market segment. Yeah. I think you need to look up more on Kajang specifics in terms of the market to bring up a good proposal for your project. I think that would be my comment basically.
All right, thank you, Surveyor Ghani. Take note, okay? Dr. Surveyor Zai.
Okay. On the location plan, why you only indicate yang location plan just now? Okay, you only indicate all the development to the north. How about to the south? Let's suppose when you prepare a location plan, sepatutnya propose site tu in the middle, yeah. And you boleh letaklah all the other surrounding development, utara, selatan, timur dan barat. Ya, ni macam yang dekat utara je, ya. Yang kat selatan ada apa? I tak tahu, ya. And then I want to comment on your comparable plan. Boleh tunjuk tak tadi ada comparable plan? Okay, ya. So ni bagus, you ada 3 comparables. Kalau you boleh dapat lagi banyak, lagi bagus lah. Cuma when you prepare comparable plan, ya, biasanya dalam comparable plan tu selain daripada lot number, ya, dekat you patut juga letak the consideration, berapa consideration, and then you letak the date of transaction. You letak date and then you letak luas, and akhir sekali you letak analysis. Ya, so maknanya you punya petak ni kena besar sikit lah, ya. Dia kena consist of the lot number, consideration, date, land area and analysis per square foot or per square meter. Ya, ingat, ya. Grup-grup yang lain pun please ingatlah, ya, jangan buat macam ni saja, ya, sebab kalau you buat macam ni saja, bila orang tengok, orang tahu ada comparable tapi tak tahu berapa kaki persegi, ya, bila ditransaksikan, ya. Okey, itu saja komen saya. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Zai and Surveyor Ghani. I have no question. I think I'll concur. I do concur with most of the panel's comments. So thank you, Group 1. Can we get Group 2? Well done, Group 1. Group 2, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, you can start.
Okay. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to Dr. Surveyor Safira, Dr. Surveyor Zahiria, and Surveyor Abdul Ghani and my fellow friends. Today, me and my teams would like to present our progress task number 2 for this integrated project. Next slide. For terms of reference, we Be Right Property Consultant Sendirian Berhad has been appointed by Saitama Property Sendirian Berhad to prepare development proposal and financial appraisal report of a property development project on 3.77 acre land on the lot number 1125 Jalan Riko, Mukim Kajang, District of Ulu Langat, State of Selangor. Next slide. Now let's move to the particular of titles. This is the proposed site particulars of titles. The proposed site is held under title lot number 1125 and it is located in Kajang, Ulu Langat District, State of Selangor. It having an area of 3.77 acres. The tenure is term in perpetuity. Category of land use is building. Owned by Saitama Property Sendirian Berhad and the express condition is for commercial. Next slide. The proposed site is identified as lot 1125 HSM 5445 Mukim Kajang, Ulu Langat District, Selangor, with a survey total land area of 1.53 hectares, which is equivalent to 3.77 acres land. Particularly, the proposed site is trapezium in shape and flat in terrain. Next slide. So the proposed site is categorized under commercial zoning. As you can see from the legend, the blue color one is represent for commercial zoning. Next slide. Basically, this is the site view of the proposed site. Currently, there is no building on the site. It flat in terrain, plus it vacant and ready to be constructed. Next slide. As you can see from this location map, our proposed site is only 3.3 kilometers away from Kajang Municipal Council. Next slide. Notable landmarks neighborhood of the proposed site includes the station KTM Kajang 2, Restaurant Nasi Arab, totally auto car service, Bangi Square, Section 5 SMK Jalan Riko, and Klinik Nur Sejahtera Kajang. Next slide. The proposed site is accessible via public transport such as Shell bus station, which is about 1.4 kilometer, and station KTM Kajang 2, which about 1.5 kilometer. And it's also accessible via various highway, including Grand Saga Highway, Sikh Highway, and North-South Highway. Next, I will pass this presentation to Huimi.
Thank you, Saliza. Now I would like to present an overview of the economy related to our proposed development, a service apartment. First of all, let us look at the gross domestic product. Malaysia gross domestic product GDP has drastically dropped from Q1 2020 to Q2 2020, which indicate a negative growth of economy due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, it showed a stable increase from Q3 2020, which showed a sign of recovery of the economy. Economies making better progress in their vaccination program have been able to ease containment measures, enabling a swift recovery in domestic activity. Next. The trend show an increase for Malaysia Consumer Price Index, CPI, from December 2020 to June 2021. Next. Inflation rate is the annual rate of increase of a price index. Headline inflation is likely to average negative in 2020 and positive in 2021. Next. The Monetary Policy Committee MPC of Bank Negara Malaysia decided to maintain the overnight policy rate OPR at 1.75% from 7 July 2020 to 8 July 2021. Next. This table shows Malaysia base rate and base lending rate. As at August 2020, the range of base rate is from 1.75% to 3.22%. Next. Moving on to the demography. Next. The population in Selangor has increased from 5.9 million people in 2010 to 6.5 million in 2021. Next. The majority of residents in Selangor come from the 15 to 64 years old range, which comprise about 4.6 million people. Next. The majority of Selangor population are Bumiputra at 40%, followed by Chinese with 37%, non-Malaysian citizen at 13%, Indian with 9%, and others at 1%. Next. The market analysis showed that up till 2019, the urban household gross income in Malaysia was slightly higher than rural household in terms of the mean that was around 8,000 and the median that was roughly 6,500. There are also B40, M40, and P20 household income, which show at the right side of the slide, which are in need of further study. Next. Now I would like to present about property market analysis. In Selangor, the volume and value of property transaction has dropped drastically from 2019 to 2020, likely due to COVID-19 pandemic. Next. The same goes for volume and value of commercial transaction in Selangor, which dropped from 2019 to 2020. Next. In 2020, the unit of service apartment in Selangor, which was unsold under construction and unsold not constructed, were slightly higher than 2019, also likely due to COVID-19 pandemic. Next. From the graph, it shows that there are more started and new planned supply of service apartment in 2020 compared to 2019. However, the completion of service apartment is lower when compared to 2019. Next. The number of unsold service apartment in 2020 is higher than 2019. Next. For our further study, from this article, we know that property portal experienced higher demand of service residents with a growth of 14.7%. This shows that the interest towards service resident is increasing. That's all from me. Now I would like to invite Lavinia to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Hui-Ming. So now we will talk about the proposed development. First, we will look at the planning considerations. We see the next slide. And we will see that, our land is commercial and therefore we can build a service apartment there. And the main thing that I want to stress on is that in order to build a service apartment, we have one of the 4 criteria that we have to fulfill. And our site fulfills the second one, that it is within the 400-meter radius of the KTM station. And the plot ratio is 1:4, right? Next. So for our proposed development, we're basically going to have 4 blocks of service apartment with a retail podium underneath. And as you can see here, this is the general idea of what it's going to look like with the car parks as well. Next. Okay, so this is like a bubble map of our proposed development. We will have the main building right in the middle. All right, so this is our service apartment with the retail. And then at the side, we'll have the parking. This is some of the visitor parking. We also have parking in the main building. Then we have our TNB substation with the open area at the back and also at the side. And then in the front, we have the perimeter planting. Now, if you notice the road that is in front, the 12.2 meter one is very, very wide, actually to allow for ease of traffic, because people will come in as visitors to the retail centers and we don't want to disrupt the traffic for the residents. So this is the reason why people can come in through the right-hand side and go to the retail part and come out just like that. Okay, next. So next we have our development logo, which is showing our development name, that is Parkland Residence. So Parkland, basically, if we can see the picture, it actually symbolizes a grassland that is scattered with all these trees and shrubs. So it's very rich in biodiversity, right? And it shows that, it gives lives. It's very rejuvenating. That's the reason why Parkland is very, very good for our development, because our development aims to give life and give, the sense of therapeutic and just a very sustainable lifestyle for our residents. So the other part is the word residence itself, because residence indicates a home that is also very luxurious and comfortable. So that's what we aim with Parkland Residence. And next is our slogan, which is making reality become reality. So the aim here is to really convert just infrastructures, these buildings, into a reality, to enrich our actual daily lives. Okay, so next we will look at all the concepts that we're going to focus on. The first one is an enclave of lush greenery. So we want our concept, our development to take advantage of the natural healing properties of nature. So we will have plants in the open spaces, in the gardens, in the balconies as well. And we also want to promote a sustainable lifestyle. So we will be using solar power. We're going to look at rainwater harvesting, and we're going to see how we're going to have like more community spaces for gardening and things like that. We also want to focus on safety and security. So therefore, because we have a retail area and also the residential area, so it's important to have a bit of a separation. So we will have security personnel to separate these two areas. There's also going to be a separate lift for the residents, right? And then we look at modern facilities. So of course we have the general facilities that all service apartments have, like the swimming pool, gymnasium, things like that. But we also want to encourage more communal spaces, so like a reading room, and also like a community garden, things like that. And we also will have disabled friendly features like ramps and railings, so that it is safe and good for everyone. So that's all for our proposed development. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that was a good slogan. Making reality become reality. Okay, well done, group 2. So I'll open the Q&A with Dr. Surveyor Zahiria.
Okay, my comment is same like group 1, yeah. In terms of the market study, you only look on the macro economy, on Selangor itself. Suppose you zoom to the Kajang, because your target market is the local market, local people in the district. So I think so you should zoom on the supply and demand on district of Kajang itself. Okay, so for the proposed development, I think it's good. That's all from me. Like the population, everything, all Selangor kan, you letakkan. Sepatutnya you kena zoom kepada Kajang lah, sebab orang yang duduk dekat mana distrik lain mungkin dia tak berminat nak duduk dekat Kajang.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Surveyor Ghani, do you have any question?
Yeah, I mean, I concur with Dr. Zahira just now. You need to be more localized in terms of analysis. And then I think in terms of the concepts, is very interesting, basically. I can say, I'm sold. Basically, I will buy the project if in reality, right? That what becomes, kan?
Nanti kan?
Yeah.
I think nanti sebab you macam propose macam luxury punya, sedangkan it's not affordable for people in Kajang.
It's actually, I think later when we come with the studies, we will see how we...
Yes, of course.
I think you kena look deeper into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess, that we all. I mean, the rest are good actually. For this group. Thank you.
Thank you, Surveyor Ghani. Thank you, Dr. Zai. I would like to apologize. You see myself like looking to a different screen is because I have 2 screens going on tau. So I'm still with you guys. But kadang-kadang yang nampak tepi tu sebenarnya I still tengok you guys. But anyways, I agree also with the comments. Kajang, I know it's difficult to get data in terms of Kajang, but I believe you guys can do it. Okay, so thank you, group 2. Well done. So group 3, are you guys ready?
Yes.
All right.
Let's wait.
Mira,
Boleh dengar tak?
Okay.
Sorry
boleh.
doktor, sebab kamera saya tak support Zoom. So saya tak boleh tak dapat buka kamera. Sorry.
No problem.
No
Okay.
problem, sama dengan laptop I. Dia disebabkan oleh laptop yang ayam, cat ayam.
Okay. Okay, saya start ya.
Okay.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning to Dr. Zafira, Dr. Zahiria, Surveyor Gani, and to all my fellow friends. We are from Group 3. For this time, we will make a presentation on Task 2 for our development proposal. Next. Okay, our subject site is located in Kajang 2. As you can see, Kajang is on the north and Bangi is on the south of the subject site. While on the west of the subject site is Bandar Baru Bangi and Putrajaya area, and Semina is on the east. With the lot number 1125, Mukim Kajang Hulu Langat Selangor. The tenure of the subject site is term in perpetuity. Next. This is the location plan of our subject site. The subject site can be accessed via Persiaran Kajang through Jalan Kajang Villa. Even the subject site is not directly connected to the main road, but it takes just a few minutes to drive there. Actually, there is also a road which connected directly to KTM Kajang 2, which we expect we can use it well in the future together with the development. Next. The subject site is in a rectangular line in shape and the topography is flat. As it is shown in the site plan, the size of the subject site is 3.77 acres and there are various of semi-permanent building on it. Next. On the left-hand side is the aerial view and on the right-hand side is the front view of the subject site. As you can see in this side view, I can say that not all of the building are built with brick and mortar. Even the wall that they built also not a permanent one. So that's why I can say it as a permanent, semi-permanent building. Next. For the public facilities and services, as usual, the water supply will be supplied by Air Selangor. The electrical supply by TMB and the telecommunication line is from TM. Kajang is governed by the MPKJ, which is stand for Majlis Perbandaran Kajang. Next. Okay, this is the surrounding plan of our subject site. Our subject site is at the bottom of the map, which is the red color. Okay, the main essential service that is the nearest that we can get is Hospital Kajang, Kajang Police HQ, and Fire Station, which is in distance within 10 kilometers from the subject site. We have Bangi Golf Club on west. There are also commercial complex such as Econsafe and Evo Mall, which is not far from the subject site. For the public transportation, there is MRT Kajang on the north of the subject site, which takes 9 minutes drive. Other than that, there are also MRT Kajang KTM2, which is also on the north of the subject site. That is still in development, and Kajang Bus Terminal on the opposite of it. Since the subject site is surrounded by residential property, so there is a lot of education institution from primary to secondary school, such as SK Kajang Lama, SMK Jalan Reko, and SJKC Bandar Kajang 2. Next. According to Rancangan Tempatan MPKJ, it shows that the subject property is zoned under commercial use and with a plot ratio 1:6. Next, I will pass the presentation to Sotling. Thank you.
Thank you, Amira. Now I will continue with the population and social demographic study. The table shows the population size from 2017 to 2021. The table has shown that population of Selangor increased steadily over the period of 2017 to 2020. Next. The table shows the household distribution in Selangor for year 2016 to year 2019. Although the household distribution increased, but the average household size in Selangor has been decreased from 4.1% in year 2016 to 3.9% in year 2019. 2019. Besides, the average income recipient also increased from 1.9% in year 2016 to 1.8 in year 2019. That's all from me. Now I will pass to Izat.
Okay, thank you, Celine. Now let's look at the property market condition in Hulu Langat. First of all, since the client intended to develop a service apartment unit, the market study will only focus on the residential market status and commercial market status, which focus on service apartment and retail market without taking into consideration of the first build office market and shop market. So now let's start with the residential property market activity in Hulu Langat. Based on the graph, both volume and value of residential property transaction in Hulu Langat show an improvement in 2019 compared to 2018, but it started to decrease in 2020. This is caused by the impact of COVID-19 pandemic that started to affect the Malaysia market in 2020, which resulted in the decline of both volume and value of residential property transaction in this year. As a result, the residential property has become slow. Next. In Hulu Langat, the market status of residential property from 2016 until 2020 show a mixed movement. The highest of overhang residential property unit in Hulu Langat is recorded in 2018. From there, the numbers start to slowly decline until 2020. The unsold under construction unit show the similar pattern as the numbers start to decline from 2018 until 2020. However, the unsold not constructed units start to appear in 2018 after recorded 0 unit in 3 consecutive years from 2016 until 2018. Overall, by considering the condition of Malaysia economy in 2020, the market status of residential property market in Hulu Langat in 2020 can be considered optimum since both overhang and unsold under construction reduced in 2020 compared to 2019 despite the pandemic environment. Next. So as for the commercial property market, the volume and value of commercial property market transacted in 2019 show a little bit of decrement compared to 2018. However, in 2020, the volume and value of commercial property transaction start to decrease. The Malaysia being affected by a pandemic, various restrictions has been applied, such as movement restriction order, which affecting the commercial market negatively. As the result, the commercial market in Hulu Langat start to show negative growth. Next. So move on to the service apartment market status in Hulu Langat. The service apartment market status also recorded a mixed movement. Both overhang and unsold under construction unit in 2020 are lower than previous year, while unsold not constructed unit begin to increase in 2020. This status reflect the positive trend of service apartment market in Hulu Langat. As for 2021, the service apartment market status can be assumed to be stable, with not much movements needed to 2020 because the slower economic growth in 2020 and 2020, which caused by COVID-19 pandemic. Next. So lastly, let's look at the shopping complex market in KAJANG. The total space of shopping complex in KAJANG show a consistent movement from 2018 until 2020. However, the total space occupied start to slightly decrease in 2020. Moreover, the occupancy rate dropped drastically in 2020 compared to 2019. In 2020, the occupancy rate dropped 90% from 2019. These are caused by the soft market sentiment in 2020, which reflect the market has more potential seller than buyer. Furthermore, the pandemic environment also has worsened the shopping complex market. Next. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Group 3 kan? Okay, so you don't have a proposed development yet, is it?
Yes, because the task already proposed the development, right? So the thing is now is about the concept and unit, etc. The number of unit we advise the developer to do. However, but right now because our competitor analysis is still in the midway, which we still haven't figured out the absorption rate of the locality around the KAJANG 2 area, because actually there's a few ongoing development around the area. But we have to see what's the sales performance about that, and then we can only decide from a short-term strategy to long-term strategy how much for the unit to be built, as well as the pricing, etc., which we will in the carry out in the midway lah.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll open the Q&A to Dr. Zai, Dr. Surveyor Zahiria.
Okay, good. Yeah. I like when you show the supply and demand, yeah, for Hulu Langat district in terms of service apartment and commercial, yeah, because I know you're going to propose service apartment and retail, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but you have yet to decide lah on the how many units and other further details. Okay, I think so far so good, yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right, thank you, Dr. Zai. Surveyor Ghani, do you have any question?
Yes, I agree with Dr. Zahira. This group has shown some good data on Hulu Langat, all right? And then, I mean, Hulu Langat, I mean, related to Kajang as well. And I particularly like this slide. I particularly like this slide because it shows us that there are strong demand for service apartment, right, in this area. Because you look at the past 3 years, I mean 2017 to 2019, all units are, I mean, fully sold out, right? Okay, I mean 2020 is an excuse because of this pandemic and all that, right? So I am interested to know more about your concept on. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Surveyor.
All right. Thank you, Surveyor Ghani. So well done, Group 3. Thank you. So we'll proceed with Group 4. Group 4, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you
Okay.
see my screen?
Yep, we can see your screen.
Okay, so I will start now.
Okay.
Okay, good morning, everyone. We are Grand Nova from Group 4. I'm Sui Zhong, and today I will present the integrated project for Task 2. So first, let's look at the introduction. We have been appointed by Saitama's Property Sendirian Berhad to propose a feasibility study of land comprises of lot 1125, Bukit Kajang, district of Hulu Langat, Selangor. And then first, let's look into the particular of title. The land of the building, the land is of building use with express condition of commercial use. So on my left side shows the site plan of the proposed development, proposed site, and then on my right hand side is the zoning plan. The proposed site is zoned under commercial. So next is the site description. The proposed land is about 3.77 acre and or about 164,000 square feet. The shape of the land is trapezium with a flat terrain while the current land use is vacant. The plot ratio is 1:4. Okay, moving towards the location map. The proposed site is about 7.2 kilometers away from MPKJ, where Jalan Kajang Villa. Okay, so now let's look at the surrounding of the proposed site because Kajang is quite a local market. Basically, from this diagram, you can see the proposed site is mostly surrounded by vacant land. Like this is our proposed site, and you can see there's a lot of undeveloped land. But let's go deeper into what it actually was. So first, from this diagram, the surrounding is basically divided into existing development, which is in pink color, and upcoming development, which is in green color, while the proposed site is in red color. So the existing development includes Taman Langat Jaya and Taman Tenaga on the left, while Crystal Villa and Taman Nadayu on right. Also, there is a newly completed KTM Kajang 2, which is about 50 meters right above the proposed site. As for the upcoming development, the Canopy Hill is about 500 meters away from the proposed site. To highlight, there are few major upcoming township in the surrounding, namely Pristine 1 and 2 by MKH developer. So I want to talk about this
major township. The pristine one is a self-contained township which comprises of hotel, university, shopping malls, shop office, and so on. While pristine 2 is also another mixed development focused on more on residential unit. Therefore, you can see the proposed site is actually full of potential because it is right next to a huge integrated township development. It is not what as it seems right now. So next is the surrounding amenities. The proposed site is easily accessible to all the basic needs you need, such as shopping malls like EconSafe, healthcare like KAJANG Hospital, financial institution like AMPANG, CMB Bank, and also we can find some significant properties such as UKM and Bangi Golf Course. Next is the public transport. Public transport is very important for the residents in KAJANG area. So the public transport we can find there is MRT and KTM. We just need to walk 50 meters from the proposed site to reach KTM KAJANG 2, and it will further link you to the MRT KAJANG station and KL Central, which is extremely convenient. Okay, so now the proposed site is also easily accessible to highways such as Silk Highway and Lekas Highway, with only 6 kilometers away for each highway. And then the Silk Highway will also further link to Elite, SKV, and CKE Highway. Okay, now let's look at the market analysis. First, I would like to talk about the national GDP. From the graph, it shows that the GDP drops sharply in second quarter of 2020 due to COVID-19 pandemic, but it immediately rose back in the next quarter and continued to rise in 2021. As for the base rate, the indicative effective lending rate is ranging between 3.2 to 3.5 since August of 2020. Okay, now let's look at the demographic. First, from the graph, we can see that Hulu Langat is actually the district with second highest number of population, right behind Petaling with an estimated 1.8 million population in 2035. Also, the household size of Selangor shows a decreasing trend for 4 people and above from 2016 to 2019. But nonetheless, it is still the largest portion of the household size in Selangor. To add on, the average household size for KAJANG is 4 in 2016. Okay, next is the salary of Selangor. Hulu Langat placed the 4th place with a median of 8,361 ringgit and a mean for about 10,000 ringgit. Also, when we look at the demographic of MPKJ, the population of KAJANG is the most, and it is expected to be almost 500,000 in 2035, which is the highest within the MPKJ, with an annual growth of 1.14%. Okay, now let's move to the property transaction in Malaysia. The value and volume of property transaction in Malaysia in 2020 shows a decreasing trend. So next is the retail supply in Malaysia. In 2020, the overhang shops is about 6,900, which is the most compared with the past 5 years. As for the supply, the completion and start of the shop supply is showing a decreasing trend, while the new supply is increased about 5.1% in 2020. Okay, now I will talk about our main focus of this development, which is the service apartment. In 2021, the price range with most overhang service apartment falls between 500,000 ringgit to 1 million, while the least overhang goes to service residents below 300,000 ringgit. Even though the service apartment seems to be in a highly overhang situation, but overhang service apartment is mostly located in Johor, as you can see in the diagram, while Selangor has only 1,900 overhang service apartment unit in 2020. So in terms of Malaysia's supply of service apartment, the supplies of service apartment, it shows decrement in completed unit, under construction, and planned unit. So this may be due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which slows down the construction progress. Also, the incoming supply in KAJANG includes Mirai Residence, Vista Bangi, Canopy Hill, and Nexus. All of them falls roughly between the price range of 200,000 to 400,000 ringgit, as shown in the diagram. For demand, which is shown by the housing need, in Selangor, there are about 4,300,000 housing unit needed in 2035 for Hulu Langat, which is the second after Petaling in Selangor area. As for KAJANG, in 2035, there are estimated 124,000 more housing units needed according to MPKJ local plan, which is also the highest among MPKJ. And then I want to show some of the sales performance of the nearby development. As you can see, all of them are performing well, especially Pristine 2 and Canopy Hills, which has already sold for more than 90% of its unit. This result shows that KAJANG is the next settlement destination in Selangor, like what has been said by Mr. Sulaiman from Rahin & Co. Okay, now let's move to our proposed concept. Parkland residents will mostly focus on three concepts, which are family concept, affordable, and youth. Therefore, we will provide more than 3 bedrooms unit, more 3 bedrooms unit with various facility and youthful interior design, while providing an affordable price range between 250 ringgit to 250,000 ringgit to 400,000 ringgit. And also, we target on the first home buyers, B40, M40, starting family, and most importantly, KAJANG youngster who wants to live near parents. Okay, lastly, we also abide by the Selangor planning guideline in terms of integrated terminal transport, minimum and maximum floor area, retail area, car park unit, which we will provide a smallest unit of 550 square feet, largest unit of 929 square feet, and 20,000 square feet of retail podium, and 2 car parks for each unit. Okay, so that's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you, Group 4. Hold on. I think it's quite a comprehensive study done. So I'll open the Q&A session to Dr. Surveyor Zahiria.
Gani dulu boleh tak?
Oh, boleh.
Okay, boleh.
Boleh.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well done, Group 4. Yes, it's a very detailed analysis on the market of the segment as well. And yeah, I kind of agree based on your analysis that there are much needed, these service residents and all. I kind of like your concepts of your development. By the way, is this project by any chance related to the Group 2, just some Parkland residents also, right? Or it's just by chance the name is just similar?
Actually, the task given the name already, so we have to follow.
Oh, okay. All right, sure, no problem. So your proposed project is supposed to be Parkland residents lah?
Yes.
For all groups, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I've not found any flaw actually on your report. In fact, I enjoy your presentation. Yeah? Well done. Okay, thank you from me.
Thank you, Surveyor Gani. Oh, okay. Now I just realized that the second task, the client gave them already what the client wants, hence the name and also the service apartment, etc. But they can propose something different, but it will go against the client's request. Okay. Right. Sorry, Surveyor Gani.
It's okay, no problem.
All right. Thank you, Surveyor Gani. Dr. Zai, do you have any question?
Okay. I also want to say that your proposed development sound realistic, because you're looking at the affordable, sebab kita tahu kan KAJANG is not macam KL, so dari segi contents of your presentation pun very good, itu saja. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Zai. Thank you, Subayagani. So well done. Group 4. Thank you. So group 5, are you guys ready? So this is the last group to present today for your interim presentation, and this is for task 2. Group 5, are you guys here?
Yep.
No? Oh, yes?
Yep. Yes.
Right. Okay, so you can start.
Okay. So good morning to Dr. Zai and Mr. Gani. I'm Chua, along with my group mates, Min Yao. We are going to present for integrated project task 2. Right. So next, first slide. So we were instructed by Satama Properties Member Hut to come up with a report for lot number Selangor. Next. So these are the particulars of title for lot number 1125 Kajang Selangor with a tenure of term in perpetuity. Right. Next. So for the site, it comes with a 3.77 acres size and a trapezium shape, and it comes with a flat terrain, which is suitable for the property development. Right. Next. So this is the proposed site flat location plan, and as you can see, it's located within Kajang 2, right? And it's accessible to major highways such as Silk, Legas, and even EKBs, because we are just beside the main road of Jalan Reko. Yep. So it's very accessible to all these highways connections. Right. Next. So this is the zoom in version of the location plan. As you can see on the left side of the map is the main road, Jalan Reko, right? And surrounding, we have a few developments coming up as well. Next. So this is the actual site view of the location map, right? Next. So for the surrounding plan, right, the red color is the proposed site, and we have a very near, close to a public transport, which is station KTM Kajang 2, roughly 200 meters away only. So other than that, we have a few health institutions, as well as schools such as SJKC, Bandar Kajang, and SMK Jalan Reko. And even an international school, reference school, right to the east of the site. And other than that, we have a closest supermarket, which is Ecosystem Bangi, right within the 10-kilometer radius of the site. Yep. So next. So for the planning provision, the plot ratio for the commercial land is 1:4, right? 1:4 commercial land. Next. So next is market study. For the economic outlook, first we look at the GDP of the country. We're looking at steady growth rate of 4 to 5% over the years, right? But we have a dip, as well. We all know in 2020 due to MCO, but as recent Bank Negara Malaysia's announcement, right, for the forecast for this year, right, we expected to have 3 to 4% of growth. So we are coming up back with the upcoming years of GDP of the country, right? Next, we have the GDP of Selangor, which basically experienced the similar trend, right, for the country, right? A steady growth over the years, right? And then we have a dip in 2020, as expected due to MCO, but as in the coming years, we have positive growth as by BNM's forecast. Okay, next. Next will be the CPI. So for the past decade, right, we have a steady growth of CPI, and then a slight dip of growth in 2020 due to the lesser spending of consumers, but of course that's being balanced out by huge government spending to balance the situation, right? So that's why we don't even see negative growth rate of the CPI. That's a good thing for the country. Next, and most importantly, we have the lowest ever OPR in the history of Malaysia, all right, 1.75%. So which means that this is going to be the lowest borrowing cost possible ever in the history of Malaysia. So this proves that it's the best timing to start a development, right? As a short conclusion, right? And for the time to come, we can position ourselves to anticipate the market growth in coming years, right, as being forecasted by BNM. And this will be the best time to start our development. So that's it from me. And next, I will pass to Min Yao for the demographic.
Thank you, Tra. So now I will be presenting on the demographic study. So looking at the population in Hulu Langat area, we actually can see that the numbers of population are growing from 2005 to 2019 for both number of citizens and non-citizens. However, the growth rate has decreased, decreasing rate is decreasing. This implies that the population is growing, but in a slower rate. The increment in the number of population is related to the interstate migration, particularly from the Kuala Lumpur area. Next, for the household size, the average household size in Kuala Lumpur, in Selangor area is 3.9%. As you can see here, compared to 2016, we actually have the number of household who has more than 4 members is actually decreased by 5.1%. The rest of the category are having some slight increment. This implies that the number of household size is decreasing, which will subsequently affect the demand on the number of rooms that the household needed. As looking for the household income, so looking at the median of the household income in Hulu Langat area, the median in 2019 is actually almost similar to the median of the whole Selangor area, which is 8,200. And then, however, the Hulu Langat has a lowest growth rate compared to the other district. And then looking at the mean of the household in Hulu Langat area, it's slightly over 10,000 ringgit, which is slightly below the mean household in the whole Selangor area. The growth rate is 5.1%. If comparing to other districts, the overall household income in Hulu Langat is in the middle, not the highest, but also not the lowest. Considered to be towards the higher income side, I would say. And comparing to the mean and the median in the Hulu Langat area, we can see there is a difference of nearly 2,000 ringgit. This shows that the dispersion of the income in the Hulu Langat area is actually quite huge. The data we obtained here is for 2019. There is no specific data that shows the household effect of pandemic on the household income in Hulu Langat area in 2020. So, but we are expecting to have a drop since that the whole Selangor area is having a decreased negative growth rate. Looking at the property market analysis, so for the number of service apartment that has been transacted in Hulu Langat area, even though during the pandemic, we actually can see that the number of service apartment that is being transacted is considered to be quite high compared to 2018 and 2019, particularly for the service apartment that values between 300,000 to 400,000, as you can see here. Moving on next, in 2020, we are expecting to have 32,000 of units of supplies of service apartment units in Hulu Langat area. And then for the unsold service apartment units in Hulu Langat, as you can see from 2016 to 2020, the numbers are actually decreasing. As I showed in the previous graph for the supplies, we actually see that there are more supplies are coming in. However, the unsold units are actually decreasing. This shows that there is a demand for the service apartment in the Hulu Langat area. And as for the numbers of overhang of service apartment in Hulu Langat, we also see that 2020 actually has only like slightly over 200 units for overhang only. Then next, for the retail space in the KAJANG area, looking specifically, we can see that KAJANG area actually has a occupancy rate of 80.6%, which is slightly higher higher than the average occupancy rate in the Selangor area, 79%. And compared to rest of the district, it considered to be okay, but uncertain. And then looking in depth, we can see that for the shopping complex that are available in KAJANG or Cheras area, majority of them has a availability space of less than 20%. However, there are 2 shopping complexes that have availability space more than 50%. In the first quarter of 2021, there are actually no new launches for shopping complex in 2021, and 2 units of shopping complex has been transacted with a value of RM 372.1 million. So for our proposed development, we are being instructed by our client that they want to propose service apartment and some retail for the service apartment. And throughout our analysis we carry out, we can say that there is a demand for the service apartment. As for retail, it might be possible to increase the demand for the proposed site if the retail space is just proposed for our client itself, because looking at the surrounding, the nearest like grocery store, like the commercial store nearest to us is actually 4 to 5 km away from the proposed site. And the detailed concept will be proposed after we carry out a detailed competitor analysis later on. That's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you, Group 5. Okay, so well done. We'll start with Dr. Zai. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I think my comments is the same like the previous group. Yeah. But then it's good that you mentioned about demands in Hulu Langat. Yeah. Yeah. And for the proposed development, I cannot say much because you haven't detailed out your development. But overall, good. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Sivani.
Yes, thank you, Group 5. Well done also, good analysis on the market and all the data. I think the successful project later on, I mean, among all the groups, right, 1 to 5, is on the concepts of your project, concept of the development, as well as the selling point, as well as your sales and marketing sort of campaign. Yeah, whether that can, you know, sort of meet with the expectation of the buyers, as well as values for the client basically. So we like to see more on that later on. Okay, on your analysis. I mean on your appraisal and the development concept. Right. All done, everyone. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Gadi. So well done, Group 5. Thank you. And we have finished the interim program. Interim presentation for Task 1 and Task 2. So basically, in this IP 2021, it's more towards the process of conducting the research, right? The market research, feasibility study, and like what Gadi said, the USP, and like what Dr. Zai said also on, you know, making sure that you studied the area properly and etc. So probably I'll invite Dr. Zai to wrap up the second session.
Wrap up ke?
Nak wrap up dah habis dah.
Basically what you have presented today are very good, yeah, for all the groups. Yeah, you know what we need, yeah, in order to prepare the report. Yeah. But basically cuma how far you have gone to difference, yeah, between group. But just bear in mind that you have to focus, yeah, because for the second task is on the local market, yeah, so you have to focus more on the local, yeah, the supply and demand. Yeah, okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zai. So I'll invite Gani to wrap up the session.
Okay, just a little bit only, yeah. Yeah, well done, everyone, on your 2 tasks of the project, right? Integrated project. I do believe, yeah, some of you, I think at least two or three presenters just now are very good actually in presenting facts and figures, as well as explaining about the concepts of the market and all. I think you'll be very good in the future, right? And for the task, yeah, just keep it up. Make a thorough analysis, okay, on the proposed project for both, and make the project, I mean, better from one another lah. Okay, all the best, everyone. Thank you very much.
My last word, yeah, make your project attractive. Yeah,
Yeah.
Attractive not to us, the lecturer who giving mark, but attractive to the market, yeah, for the prospective buyer. And as well to the owner, yeah. They also need high return, yeah, on investment. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Surveyor Ghani. Thank you, Dr. Surveyor Zai. So I think those were your comments for today. I think you guys did well. Actually, the interim is all about seeing where you are progressing, and I think everybody is progressing well in week 4. You have about 3 more weeks to submit, right? And the final presentation, one of the session, Tan Sri Rahim is going to be one of your panel, but we have yet to get the confirmation on which date. It's either on the 6th of September or 8th of September. So there is going to be a split of groups. So it's like 2 groups are going to present on the 6th, and then 3 groups are going to present on the 8th, something like that, okay? And you'll be presenting both tasks as well. So remember about the attractiveness as well, okay? Because this is the time for you to, shine with your concept. Previously, when you get to choose your own land, I realized that you don't have enough time to actually explain thoroughly on the concept and how is it going to, being sold? How are you going to sell it to the market? And also, are you guys doing okay? Is there any problem? Because it's a different format, kan? Before this, you can choose your land and you can just do whatever you want. So in this IP, it's more of a very like, okay, this is what the client wants and you have to follow. So is there any problems that you have encountered that you would like to share with us?
Doctor, I actually have one question. So, for as far as I know, for Kuala Lumpur area, there is a specific zone for mixed development. But in this case, if we propose service apartment and a combination with retail or SOHO, we are considered as mixed development or still considered as commercial?
This is under KL structure plan, right?
Service apartment is under commercial. Yeah, service apartment, SOHO is under commercial. So it's commercial.
So even though I have a few other mixed with other commercial use development, I still consider as commercial.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or any problems that you might face? You don't like this format? Oh, sorry, yes.
Yeah, Dr. Lekon here. Just wondering, in the case when we're doing the DCF or feasibility study, since our group just now proposed, we will advise self-management by the developer itself, which means they are going not to sell the retail lots. So in that case, do we have to take into consideration of the income stream in the future, the tenant income, the rental income? Because normally what we do is the GDV minus the GDC. So we will discount it back to the present value. This is a simple way of explaining the DCF, the feasibility study. But now since we are advising to build, but it's for the own management through rental only. So do we need to consider the rental income or the...
Hello, Lik Wan, you can get the capital value by using investment method.
Oh, so I will do a separate analysis for that, is it?
Yeah,
because, okay, understood. Thanks, Doctor. Yeah, that's my question on it.
Okay, thank you, Lik Wan. Any more questions? Since we have Dr. Zai and Surveyor Ghani here as well, it's be a good time to ask questions. Any more? No question? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, actually I have one. It's
okay.
More reality one. Just wondering, because since we are a property consultant, which we advise our client regarding the market movement as well as the development, etc. So do our profession really in real life or in the industrial, we even provide the development name or etc. the nature to our client? I thought that one is up to the developer punya job. Sama dengan architecture punya design macam tu. Just a concern just a confusing mind to me.
Lik Wan, actually, the feasibility study is first, yeah, before the architect, suppose, yeah, because we have to look into the I mean the market study, yeah, market study come first, yeah. So market study will give us rough idea, yeah, rough idea on what is the best development on the site.
Oh, so normally is we have to redo a lot of feasibility study.
And then we propose, yeah, in terms of numbers of unit and so on. But then we have to collaborate, yeah, with all the other profession like architects, QS and whatsoever in order to come up with a good development, yeah, proposed development.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Doctor. I think no question for the one.
Okay, so any last question before 12 o'clock we'll take? Okay, no more question. Kita ambil gambar lah nak? Okay, semua orang alah Dr. Zai tak boleh buka kamera. Ke boleh? Dan Dr. Zai?
Tak boleh, I memang tak boleh. Dia akan keluar macam tu je. Sebab I think my laptop ni dah berat, ya. Banyak benda kena delete tapi I sayang nak delete. Nak tempat lain.
Ke kena beli baru?
Cloud pun dah penuh nak hantar kat cloud. nak kena bayar tapi kena kod.
Okay, so okay, tak apa, nanti kita nampak nama Dr. Zai. So everyone buka kamera please. Sekejap ya. Saya fikir juga macam mana nak buka ni. Sekejap ni. Okay.
Sebab guna Zoom, kalau Google Meet boleh. Kenapa guna Zoom?
Sebab kita pakai Zoom semua sebab hari tu siapa? Rahim Mengko tu dia boleh pakai Zoom je. Dia tak reti yang lain. Okay, so semua okay, there's 2 page, so I akan ambil 2 kali, okay? So 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, satu lagi sebentar. Tadi Afiqnya kamera tak buka. Satu lagi 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, satu lagi 1, 2, 3, smile. Hafizuddin dah tukar baju. Tadi kan baju lain ke? Okay, so alright, so I think that's about it. Thank you everyone. Well done everyone. I hope you guys are progressing well. If you need any help, please go back to your group facilitator, okay, or to myself or to any one of us, okay, whatever you may need, okay. Because IP ni is that's the only subject you have, right, for this semester. So we're aiming A for every group, okay. So 5 group must get all A. So use us lah, okay, the lecturers in IP as much as you can so that you can complete it with flying colours, okay?
Okay,
alright.
For your information, my marks, all the group already got A, yeah?
Alright, so okay, so thank you everyone. I'll see you guys in WhatsApp group lah kot to update on the final presentation. Alright, so bye. Take care. Stay safe.
Bye-bye for now. Stay safe. Stay home.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.